Yes, football fans, here we are, 2022 World Cup in Qatar. I'm, of course, Jason. He's, of course, Matt. We're here to talk the 2022 World Cup and preview. How's it going, man?
Oh, I'm amped up for this one. I've got a little bit extra juice today, I think, and I mean, why not? It's going to be just this awesome tournament held in a pretty controversial place, and
Yeah.
we're going to have some bets for it, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yep, starts Sunday. Host nation Qatar taking on Ecuador. But well, before we get to that, let's go ahead and set up the preview. We'll talk about the eight groups, let you know who's going to be the winner, who's going to be the runner up in that group. And then let's go ahead and fill out the bracket per se, go all the way through the knockout rounds, give you guys a winner, and let you know, obviously, who will be taking home it all. Golden Boot winners, the whole thing. Settle on back for about the next hour, 45 minutes. Sit back. World Cup is here, baby. Let's go ahead and kick it off, Matt. We'll alternate, so therefore one person doesn't have to always give out their picks. Why don't you go first in Group A, where you had a pick between Netherlands, Qatar, Senegal, and Ecuador? Who's winning and who's coming in second place?
Yeah, I think that the Netherlands will end up topping the group. I wanted when the draw came out to have something on Senegal to top the group because I think that they're a solid squad. The African champions. I think that Sadio Mane is the most important player to any team really in this competition. And then of course, just last week he gets injured and it throws kind of a whole wrench into this in this group for me. So I will kind of make a twist. I'll stick with it. I don't really have a lot in terms of betting angles in this, but I'll just stick with Netherlands and Senegal.
Netherlands.
Netherlands.
Netherlands, Senegal. I agree with you. Netherlands is going to go ahead and top the group. Love, obviously, their defense with Virgil and also Delete in there as well. I think they've got enough in attack with Bergeron and Gakpo and Depay. I'm still always a little bit nervous with Frank de Jong in the middle with his fitness coming in. Lack of time he's been getting at Barcelona, but I'm with you. Netherlands will top the group. I did not go Senegal. The reason I didn't go with you, I agree with the Mane piece, but when you rule him out and then rule him back in, that feels like he's like going to miss a game or two, and it's one of those like if you progress, well, obviously we'd like to have him on the roster. So I think he's going to miss this first game. Qatar is going to be able to take advantage. They're going to take Ecuador on in that first game, which we'll maybe preview that and give that a bet at the end of this show. But because you're taking Ecuador, that's either one of those squads, if it's Ecuador or Qatar, if they want to advance, they've got to get those 3 points. Qatar will have the advantage with all their club players playing together at the same team that'll be in on this Qatar. So they'll have the advantage, I think, this Sunday. All the emotion, chemistry. I'm going Netherlands and Qatar to get out of that group instead of Senegal.
I think that's a decent shout. I think that Qatar more and more, if the market is starting to like them, I think because of the Mane news and like it gives Ecuador and Qatar a little bit more life in this one. But yeah, I mean, I think that if you want to have a bet in this group, like as an accumulator, you kind of just say, look, I think the Netherlands are going to top it. I think that Jason has a
Yeah,
really clean white jersey on right now,
that's right.
and they will win the group. I think that they will
Yep.
win this group, and that's really all I have though for this one.
Yep, you're looking for a parlay piece. There's a great parlay piece. Netherlands to win the group. Let's go Group B. England, Iran, Wales, United States. I'll do this one first. I've got England winning this group. And when you want to talk about this England group, just think of like the NBA team and you create an all-star team or the NFL Pro Bowl. You're going to know all those guys, right? You're going to know everybody on this England team because of your love with the Premier League, just like Matt and I do. So maybe save the name. I just think England easily gets it done here in the group. They're going to be the winners. Coming out of Group B with them will be the United States. They're going to get it done. Ream, Carter Vickers right there. Yedlin, I know he plays in the MLS, so that means I don't personally watch him anymore, but I always loved watching him at Newcastle. So if he makes the World Cup roster, I'm assuming Yedlin's still halfway decent. Leeds midfielder there, and Adams and Aronson. I'm on the U.S. They're coming out of the group with England. What do you have in Group B, Matt?
I agree. I agree with you. I do think that it's going to be tricky. It's going to come down to this match day one where we are slight favorites against Wales on Monday, and we can definitely talk about that one at the end. I mean, when you look at the lineup, I hope that they roll with really no true striker. I would rather go with. I saw a couple lineups on Instagram and stuff like that. People post kind of mock lineups,
Yeah.
and I would love to see like Gio Reyna kind of lead the line, have Pulisic on the left, Aronson in the middle, Weah on the right, and then have two holding midfielders in Adams and Musa. I think that would be really, really quality stuff. And then our left back, we're solidified with Robinson, right back, Serginho Dest. I
Yes.
think we look good there. And then it'll most likely be Timothy Ream It Up Wales' butt and Walker Zimmerman. I think that will most likely be it. And I think that when you stack the teams up on paper, we are clearly the better side. I think that we pose the biggest threat to England in terms of this group. It's just going to be we just got to have those tactical smarts, and we really need Greg Berhalter to be on his game here, because I think we're going to come out and we're going to high press these teams, and you just kind of hope that Ream and Zimmerman have the legs to be able to handle a high press.
All right. So you went the same order: England, United States, 1-2.
Yes, I think that England. I have a bet that I think that England can win all matches, all three matches in this.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I already saw for match day one, they're a great parlay piece. It's like minus
Mm-hmm.
300, but like I said, a great parlay piece going on Iran.
Yeah.
All right, Group C, you go first and tell us who you got winning the group, coming in second between Argentina, Saudi Arabia, Mexico, and Poland.
This is going to be Argentina and Poland for me. I think that Poland will find a way to squeak by. I think I think that the only CONCACAF side that gets out is the United States of America. I really do. I think that picking on CONCACAF as a general idea in the betting markets isn't a bad idea. I mean, I think it's one of the weakest regions of football in the world. And I think that this Mexico side, which, yes, they have like a lot of grit and hunger, but I just don't. I think that this is one of the weaker Mexican sides in many years. I really do, and that's not to say that like Poland are juggernauts or anything, but
Right.
they've got a couple players that I think can make the difference where Mexico kind of lack that ability. So it's going to be Argentina with no issue. I think that Argentina also win every single match that they play in this group stage, and I think that Poland in match day one, it's basically a pick 'em right now. Mexico are slight favorites over Poland, and I think whoever can take care of business in that head to head will go through. And I'm going to go with Poland.
Yeah, I'm with you there on Argentina, obviously. So is everybody watching this broadcast right now. We all just said Argentina is going to get it done and get it done easily. Even Di Maria with a nice goal today and a little friendly. Love to see he's back. If he can hit that form, woo, watch out right there. You mentioned Mexico hungry. You mentioned they're gritty. I'm going with Mexico. I think they're going to get it done. It's between Poland. You go look at the books. Like one's minus 115, one's like minus 125. They're pretty even to get up out of this group. I'm just going to rely on Mexico to go ahead and get it done. Lanzano there from Napoli will carry them. A couple guys on the squad for Ajax, but it's more the hunger, the grit. They traveled to Brazil when I was down there at 2014. I'm expecting them to travel over to Qatar as well. They'll put on a nice, good support. So I'm going Mexico. I'll just go a little bit different there. I do see Mexico getting out there in Group C. Pivotal game, obviously. Go ahead and kick it off, like you said, up against Poland.
Yeah. That one will
This is
pretty much decide everything.
Yeah, your World Cup is really decided in that one game. Exactly. So, all right, Group D, we got France, Denmark, Australia, Tunisia. I'll kick this one off. France is going to win this group pretty easily. See them advancing out. Then Denmark will come up in second. For France, though, it's Hugo, it's Kanate, it's Koundé. Obviously, the Real Madrid field, you're just dropping that in, as you talked about on last week's preview show there with Kamavinga. And then the Tuchemeni, his partner right there. Rabiot, Mbappe, Griezmann, Giroud. They're even talking about getting a new contract with Giroud over at AC Milan. So he comes in hitting nice form. Benzema, obviously, he'll recover for the first couple. So France, of course, and Denmark. I just really going to rely on Eriksen and Højbjerg more than anything Tunisia can put out there and anything Australia. Not that this Denmark's great. Like when we talk about the bracket, Denmark will be one of these teams to me that's right out. But at least in the group with these four teams, France and Denmark pretty easy for me.
Yeah, no, I completely agree here. I think, and that's it's one of the wagers that I've placed. It's a straight forecast bet on DraftKings at minus 105. It is France to finish first, followed by Denmark to finish second.
Yeah.
I think that Denmark are kind of like a trendy upset pick to like win this group, but I don't really see it. I still think that France, even despite like sad news like Nkuku getting injured, I think that he would have made a really big difference for them as the tournament kind of continues to progress, because he's a fantastic player. Like he's going to get a big money move next summer away from Leipzig. But they have other players. They have so much depth, and I think that even without Conte and Pogba, like you mentioned, with the new kind of Real Madrid midfield pairing.
Mm-hmm.
As long as Didier Deschamps just gets it right in terms of like who's he going to start in his back four, all of those things, he's kind of a tough manager to bet with in terms of like I don't think I'll really be interested in betting France very often in this group stage. I
Mm-hmm.
just really it's just the future angle for me, and I think that that's kind of a theme for me. Really, is betting a lot more like volume and future in the futures market, where I see like a slight edge versus like trying to predict every single thing like head to head. And because Denmark has beaten France in the Nations League, they've gotten the better of them, and they'll meet again here. So I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's going to be an interesting one, but I do think that France poses just a little bit too much quality, and I think that the group forecast of France and Denmark is the value.
There you go. Like that right there. And you mentioned World Cup future bets. At the end of this, we'll give out tons of future bets. Matt's got slew of them, slew of them, slew of them, and I've got a handful as well to give out. So, all right, yeah, that's gonna be set done there in Group D. Let's go to Group E now. You're up first. What do we got? Spain, Germany, Japan, and Costa Rica. Who's winning and who comes out in second?
I think that everyone in this group has the ability to beat up on Costa Rica, which makes Japan like a bit of a like trendy kind of dog to find a way to get out of this. But I think ultimately it will be the two big guns, and I believe that it will be Germany that tops this group, and Spain are slight favorites there. And I would rather be with the underdog price. I think that just when you stack up the 11s, they're basically the same. So I would just probably rather have the underdog there. And but I do think also that Germany have, a little bit more attacking quality in terms of finishing off chances. Like I just don't really trust Alvaro Morata for Spain
Right,
enough.
right.
I think that he's a guy like I was looking on Bovada a couple days ago. He's like minus 140 to have 6 shots on target in the
Mm-hmm.
tournament or more, and he'll probably get that. But I just worry about, he struggles to finish off chances. I've seen
Oh,
it time
we
and time
see
again
it.
with
Oh yeah.
Chelsea and Atleti, and he's not for me. And so they're going to dominate possession, but what will they do with it? That's the real question with Spain. I think that Germany just has a little bit more cutting edge, and I'm a big fan of Hansi Flick. I think that he's a manager to kind of back, and I think that they might be the European team to trust in this tournament. It would be Germany.
Germany to trust. I'm with you right there in Group E. Go ahead and give me Germany. I thought you said it well. The starting 11 will be better than Spain's. Give me definitely the dog price. If you're going to buy that, for sure, take Germany. And then I think you're right when you mentioned the attackers. I was going to mention guys like Mukuku over there at Dortmund, obviously Sane and Narby with there with Bayern. Like all their attacking more than I do for Spain. So I'm right there with you on Germany winning that group. I'm going to go ahead and take those underdogs you mentioned. I'm taking Japan. They're going to come out of this group along with Germany. Again, they'll get the 3 points against Costa Rica, as you mentioned, and then just compete against Spain. I think they'll do more to compete. There are some guys on that Japan squad. Tomiyasa, he's over at Arsenal. Menamino, he's over at Monaco. Kumbo, he's over at Real Sociedad. Then you got Mitomo, he's over at Brighton. We know they're doing well. Kamada's over at Frankfurt. So they've got some players on this Japan squad. They're going to pull the upset, beat Costa Rica. I get more than a result against Spain. I think they'll knock them off. They're going to get it done. So I saw Japan. That was one of the games I saw when I was in Brazil. Them take on Costa Rica. And it was a bright game. It looked good. So I'm grinding with Japan there, Matt, in Group E to come out of there with
I
Germany.
don't mind it. I don't mind it. I really do. I love Kamada. I think that he's a fantastic player. I watched him a decent amount. He was in the Europa League final last year when they won, for Frankfurt. And he's a do it all player. He can play up top. He can play in the middle. He can cause any team in the world problems. So I think that they do have enough quality to cause Spain and Germany some problems.
Love it. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us here. We're previewing the 2022 World Cup, working it through the group stages. About to hit you guys with the full bracket here in a minute. Hit that like button if you're enjoying with us. If not, drop something in that comment section. If you've got these groups going to other nations, by all means, drop it in that comment section. Roll it on to Group F. It's Belgium, Croatia, Canada, Morocco. I think I'm up first. I've got Belgium winning the group. I just like probably made the best goalkeeper in the tournament, Courtois. He's just a big game. Maybe the best midfielder in Kevin De Bruyne. I'm taking that. I like his partner there in Tillemans. Lukaku, Hazard, and Carrasco will create enough here in the group stage to get out, and I think get out in first place. But when we get to the bracket, maybe watch out. I think maybe they could be lacking in their center back. They're exposed. You're telling me their center back is a way back Spurs, Alderweireld, and Vertonghen? That could be their center back? Okay, they'll get out of the group because they've got enough attack, but they could be a quick out in the bracket, even though I have them winning the group. Coming out of the group is going to be Croatia. Just steady Eddie Croatia, Modric, Kovacic, Perisic, Pekovic over there, Zagreb. You guys saw him banging Champions League goals. Croatia will come out with them, but Belgium. But one that I think some second place teams will like to get Belgium there in that knockout round as them coming out as a winner. What about you, Matt?
I agree. I mean, I think that this group does have that possibility. I don't really have any bets in terms of this group. I wanted to take Belgium to top it, but the price just isn't great. It's around minus 200.
Yeah.
Can't trust their back line. I mean, the one thing, I guess, if you're, from Belgium and you're a fan of that, that country and some of these players, like you mentioned, the partnership of Alderweireld and Vertonghen, at least the one thing you can hang your hat on is they know each other really
Chemistry.
well.
Right.
I mean, their chemistry is extremely high. They've been paired together for many years. They haven't been in the last couple, but they've been paired probably for about over 6 years together. So they know each other's tendencies. They just lack a ton of pace. They're such a top heavy team. In terms of like the front end of the engine is a Porsche engine, and then they've got like a Honda in the back kind of thing. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? It's just that's the problem. And I agree with you that they end up getting out of this group, but I think that they will struggle as the tournament progresses. But I mean, they can light it up. They have one of the best attacking lineups, no doubt, in this tournament. So this is really Belgium's kind of last chance. This is kind of their golden generation.
Yeah.
And so, they'll still be solid, but they just need to have someone be born in that country that plays defense.
Right.
And then I agree with you in terms of Croatia. I just think that they're savvy. They've got that feeling of we've done this before, but they're aging as well. So and then you've got Canada and Morocco, two teams that we don't really know what we're going to get. And again, this is a pretty volatile tournament when you're only playing 3 matches. Right. Anything can really happen.
Yeah, we talked about it on the preview show. You got to come out hot, chemistry, form, everything. So to your point, only 3 matches. So all right, we see that one. You're up first here in Group G: Brazil, Serbia, Switzerland, and Cameroon.
Yeah, I've got the Ronaldinho jersey on right now, so I'm going to go. I'm going to go with Brazil here. I think it's pretty clear cut. I think that this is really, it's a great group though for Brazil to kind of get their work in early and get to form, because I think that these other 3 teams do pose a threat. They just don't, like, if this was like, let's say this was like Portugal or Belgium, even England, like this would be a tricky group to predict. But I think that you just look at Brazil and who they've taken, they're just really, really good. So It's like, how can you not take them to top this one? But like Serbia, Switzerland, Cameroon, like I wouldn't be sleeping on any of those teams. So they're going to have to be fully focused when they're playing. And, it kind of just goes back to my favorite like future bet really in terms of the tournament is that someone from South America wins this tournament. So I get on my side, I get Argentina, Brazil, Uruguay. Those 3 teams I think have legitimate chances to advance far in this competition. So Brazil tops it, and I'm going to go with Serbia. I think that Serbia just have a little bit more up top. I placed a future bet on Vlahovic to have 2 or more goals in this tournament. I think that he'll be the one he's taken the penalties. I think that this group, in terms of I think it has goals in it. I think that some of the other ones might be low scoring. I think that this group has got quality. I think that there could be some over 2.5s hit in this group, and Vlahovic at plus 250 to score 2 goals in this tournament. I think that he can do it. I think that they can advance out of this group just by a hair over Switzerland.
Love that bet. Boy, I knew I was going to tail some of your bets, and that's a damn good one. Definitely tailing that one. I agree with you. Brazil's for sure. not only out of the group, but they're in first place. This that lineup, like when they dropped their lineup that was coming out, you saw that thing on Twitter. Like it was just baller, 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 baller. That's why you're sitting in that jersey and you look so damn good over there because it's just a team full of ballers. So they're winning the group. Don't kid yourself. And then coming in second place, I'm with you on Serbia. They're getting it done. You mentioned it, Vlahovic. They got the guys Mitrovic. He sat out the last game against United, so I don't know what he picked up, why he wasn't involved in that. But Mitrovic also coming in for the last 20 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever. Now I'm with you on Serbia. They're going to get it done. Switzerland, this is one where it's crazy to price shop. Everybody agrees Cameroon's in fourth place in terms of all the books. But you can get Serbia at minus 110 to advance, at some books at plus 120. All of them seem to have Switzerland a touch better to get out. Mm-hmm. But Serbia, minus 110 to plus 120 to get out of the group. I like Serbia. I'm with you. Take that.
And by the way, those two nations hate each other. So I really that's one to, if you're writing stuff down and like you're taking any notes from this video, I think that's a good one to take, is you would look at cards in that match. Those that will be a feisty match between Serbia and Switzerland. Two nations that are not fond of one another. And there will be some scrapping going on in that one. And then, I mean, just in general, like Cameroon, what a story for them to get here. Mm-hmm. I don't think that they're completely out of it really in this one. Like, I think that they've got a shot because I think that these three other sides, I think that Serbia, Switzerland, Cameroon, I don't think that there's a ton separating them. But what it took for Cameroon to get here, it went to extra time in the second leg of their qualifier.
Oh, wow.
The team that they're going up against scores in like the 112th or something, and then they end up with an equalizer that sends them to the World Cup in like the 120th minute. So there really isn't a better story of getting to the World Cup right now than Cameroon. I mean, they had basically 1 minute left in their match, and they scored a goal to make it. So just something,
that's a beautiful
they
game.
have those Cinderella hats on, where they maybe got some luck with them.
It's the beautiful game. All right, love to see that. We got one more group before we get into bracket play here of the World Cup. The last group, Group H, Portugal, Uruguay, Ghana, and South Korea. I believe you're up first.
Yeah, no, I think
hold on. You did Brazil, Serbia first. I'm up first.
Okay.
Hold on.
Yeah, it's your time.
I've got the winner here in Group H, not Portugal. Uruguay is going to go ahead and win this group. Oh, maybe old center backs like maybe Vertonghen, but hell of a lot better there in Godin, the old Atletico Madrid center back. So he's a hell of a lot better than that. Jimenez will be slotted in right next to him. Bentancur, Torreira will be leading it in the midfield. Valverde, that great Real Madrid player, Valverde. Yeah, he's on that Uruguay squad. Darwin Nunez. Guys, I'm getting some future bets, and maybe I like Darwin Nunez a little bit more than what you think. So I'm going to maybe talk about him a little bit later. But then Cavani and Suarez, either maybe Cavani next to him, one of those two, both those guys coming off the bench. So Uruguay's beating them. They're coming out of the group. Uruguay will be top. Second place, joining them, I put Portugal just because they have the pieces when you look at the squad, but then they have the Ronaldo factor. And I think they could be maybe an easy out. Unhappy with the club, obviously doing it's all about him. Like, it's such a great squad when you look at it, but then it's like it's all about Ronaldo. And if they don't come out well in that first game where they play up against Ghana, maybe Ghana can get them to a draw. They can get a point. And now Ronaldo, he could just ruin it. So love the squad. It'll get them out of the group, but we get to this bracket. Maybe Portugal's an easy out here in the bracket.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about Portugal. Just, I think that Diego Jota was so influential for that side. And now you're going to kind of have to go back to relying on, 37, 38-year-old Ronaldo. And he's in a weird place after the interview. If you guys have seen,
right. Yeah.
The interview is a wild, wild interview done. I think that they will probably find their way out of this group, but I think that right now Uruguay, and it's just me really taking a bet on the South American sides. I just think that they are going to have a slighter edge. When you think of even like temperatures, like how hot it's going to be in Qatar, like who plays in hot temperatures all the time when they're playing these matches? It's the South American head-to-heads. And really I'm looking at a quote about Araujo, because you mentioned Godin and Jimenez, who, like Vertonghen and Alderweireld, have been paired in huge Champions League finals for 4 or 5 years. but Godin's age now. But like this is where the bet really came from. I've got a few bets essentially on Uruguay. Um, but it's about Araujo, the Barcelona center back who is younger. He's got better wheels, but he got injured many months ago. But they've taken him, saying the people from the coaching staff of the team are at his disposal regarding his recovery process. He is going to be integrated to the extent that he can carry out the activities with the team. Then naturally, it will be a decision of the player and also the coach regarding his participation in the World Cup. So like it's trending to being good. Like whereas if it's Jimenez and Araujo, that's why I have a sprinkle of I think it's the last dark horse like with value left. I think that Uruguay are my dark horse of this tournament. I have a ticket at 55 to 1. I found that, where was that? Where did I place that bet at? It was on Bookmaker. No, it was on Bovada. Bovada. So check around. Like this is a tournament where I have kind of gone offshore with a lot of things too. I've got some DraftKings, FanDuel, but as well as looking at other alternative markets because they have more options available. But I found a Rogue 55 on Bovada. It's probably still there. I also have a wager just like what you mentioned, Jason. They win Group H plus 220. That was at Bookmaker.
Yeah,
That I found the best odds at. I think that they've got a cohesive side, and I'm going to go with more cohesion.
All right, love it right there. And then second place was still Portugal.
Second place was still Portugal, and then one other bet that I just placed a couple days ago was Darwin Nunez, the man that you were talking about. Darwin, the man, the myth, the legend. He will score 2 or more goals in this tournament.
Oh yeah.
He will score more than he will score 2. I think he'll score more than 2. That was at plus 120 on Bovada for him to score 2 or more goals. So over 1.5 goals on Darwin Nunez in this tournament. I think that he's kind of the guy that people know about because he transferred to Liverpool in the summertime. But I think that people are really going to get to know him after this tournament.
Yeah, I can't wait to get to your best. Sounds like that's another one I want to go ahead and tail. So Nunez over 1.5 goals, like that right there. All right, so now we're on to the bracket. That's who we had winning each group. That's who we had coming in second place. So that's how we obviously have qualifying for the knockout stage. Now we need to do the knockout round, the round of 16 first. We've obviously got different matchups. So let's just say who we have winning. Who do we have then in the quarterfinals the round of 8.
Yeah, no. Do you have the bracket pulled up?
Yeah, I can put it up here real quick.
That would be pretty nice.
This is what the bracket looks like. So I can show you. So I can I'll show. Here, let me take a screenshot of this real quick.
Yeah.
All right.
Pull this up. I've got the South American teams going a decent way. I know that Belgium, most likely if they top their group,
so here it is.
That they will be playing either Spain or Germany, and I think that they could maybe beat Spain, but I think that they would lose to Germany. So like I'm worried about Belgium, I guess, advancing far, I'd say.
So those will be the games that I have. I'll tell you right now, of those games, I've got Netherlands beating USA. I've got England beating Qatar. I've got Argentina beating Denmark. France beating Mexico. Croatia beating Germany. Japan beating Belgium. Uruguay beating Serbia. And Brazil beating Portugal. So I have that round of the World Cup.
Yeah, so for that, I would have USA and Netherlands like surprisingly pretty close to one another. They played in a friendly just a few seasons ago, and USA won. So that's always interesting, like that they feel like they might have a slight edge, but again, that was a friendly. Some of the best players for the Netherlands didn't play in that match, but I think that game could be really competitive. I would go with Netherlands just based off their strength at the back line versus our strength at our back line.
Right.
England for me will be getting by Senegal or Qatar or Ecuador. I really don't know who's second in that group. They have a great run in. Argentina will have a tricky match against Denmark, but I think that they'll progress. France versus Mexico, France versus Poland. I think that France is going to get by. They'll find a way. It might not be that easy, but they'll find a way. Germany, Croatia. It'll be the Germans there. I don't think with any issue. Belgium, and then I've got Spain. I think that
Mm-hmm.
Spain will probably take care of business there, but that will be a really interesting match. That one's a tough one to call. Uruguay, like them to advance, and I like Brazil to blow the doors off of Portugal.
Okay, there we go. So our one difference was Matt's going to go ahead and take Germany to knock off Croatia, where I've got Croatia to beat Germany. And then Matt's other one, instead of going Spain against Belgium, he's got or Japan against Belgium. He's got Spain against Belgium, and therefore he's got Spain winning. Otherwise, we agreed: Netherlands, England, Argentina, France, Croatia. So let's take this down. So this would basically be our next round. You would have damn near the same. You have obviously
Pretty
Germany.
much.
You'd
Yeah.
have Germany instead of Croatia. So that's how I have the next round. How I have that round of the World Cup unfolding is I have Argentina knocking off Netherlands. I have Argentina. I have Brazil beating Croatia. I have England beating France. I've got England beating France. All the Premier League studs that we watch every goddamn weekend, they're going to go ahead and get it done and knock off France. And then I've got Uruguay. Uruguay knocking off Japan.
I like that. So for me, it would be so I like Argentina. I like Argentina to get the job done against the Netherlands or USA.
Yeah.
I or maybe Wales. Like who the hell knows? Like that one's. But I like Brazil to beat
You'd
Croatia
have Germany. You'd have
or
Germany.
Germany. Like yeah, that match will be that one will be interesting. Like that's
You're wearing a
where
Brazil jersey. You picking Brazil?
I am, but like that will not be an
Yeah.
easy one. Like that
Yeah.
will be, you could see extra time. I think in some of these, I think that Argentina's route is really nice. Like that's why I really like Argentina in this tournament from a future standpoint because I think that their route is the easiest. I think
Mm-hmm.
that Brazil's route is trickier, but I think that Brazil's talent is more. So, and then England versus France, flip a coin. Your guess is as good as mine.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably lean with Mbappe and those guys. I think that they have a better defense. So I'll go with France there, and I think Uruguay, baby. I think that they just like keep
Ooh.
progressing whoever the hell they face.
Okay, you like Uruguay. All right, so we're on this two semifinals and a final. I'm going to throw them both up at the same time. You can tell us where you're at, Matt. But here's what I've got in the semifinal and the final. So you
Yeah,
can see right there, I've got Brazil knocking off Argentina in a rematch of the 2021 Copa America tournament where Argentina scraped out a 1-0 win, lifting Messi to his first international trophy. Brazil's going to get payback against them this time. They're going to knock off Argentina. And Uruguay, they're going to continue the run. Uruguay's going to get it done against England. I guess you would have this against Uruguay, France. Otherwise, you would have the same semifinal. So what's your final?
yeah.
And then we'll pick a winner. I've got Brazil, Uruguay.
I'll go with Brazil versus France as the World Cup final.
Okay, and then as Michael's asking, you've got Brazil, France. I've got Brazil, Uruguay. Who do you got winning it?
Yeah, I mean it's exactly who I have on right now. I do think that they're worthy favorites. I don't think that there's like necessarily value betting them. That's why, like I mentioned, I've got at least a team winning from
Yeah,
South America. And I
such a
think
smart
that
pick.
if you look, I mean, look at on the board right now. We've got three South American teams like making a really big charge here. So let's hope that Uruguay can do some things. But but yeah, I thought that grabbing CONMEBOL to win this was like the best value because I'm not sure if it's going to be Argentina or Brazil, but I think it's one of them.
Hmm.
And
I love that future. I want to tail that one
yeah,
too.
yeah. So I think I can definitely see France versus Brazil here, like without a doubt.
Okay, then my final. Then I've got Brazil, Uruguay, obviously, and all South American final. With Matt, I've got Brazil winning it. I just love it. Love everything about it. Love that 11. Love anything they're going to go ahead and bring off the bench. Just love everything about it. They're going to stack up well. And then whenever you put this together, guys, if you're doing a bracket challenge out there, you literally have to do it. It's how Brazil lines up. They're playing a Portugal in the first round of the knockout. I think Portugal is going to be an easy out. I think Brazil rolls right by Portugal. So make sure you got to do the bracket, lines it up. So yeah, Brazil for me. I agree with you. All right, let's go ahead then and get to I guess you could say my biggest surprise. We're gonna say that it would have to be Uruguay. I mean, hell, I've got Uruguay in the final, so you can get there right
Yeah.
now, 50 to 1 to win the tournament. If you're holding on to 50 to 1 and they made the final, obviously that's a damn good bet. So yeah, that would be my
Yeah.
biggest surprise. I guess my biggest disappointment is either gonna be like how quick. I know people like Belgium, but their center backs, unless Courtois comes up big, I think they're an easy out. Portugal to me is going to be a quick out, I think, in the knockout round, so they'll want to disappoint. But you know, not maybe that's it. I guess I don't have Spain. I guess maybe Spain. People probably have Spain and Germany. You're somebody's got Spain. So I don't know, Matt. Those are one of my biggest disappointments. What about you? Surprises and disappointments?
I think that's like some disappointments, like when you look at like where people expect them to go and stuff like that. Like I think that England will eventually like kind of look at to be a disappointment just because I'm just not. I don't believe in their center halves really long term, and they have question marks on goalkeeper and these kind of tournaments. Like you need to be really solid on who is in between the sticks and all that stuff because we mentioned every single moment in this tournament is magnified. So I agree with you on Belgium. I think that they'll be a disappointment. I think that Portugal will be a disappointment. And yeah, I guess my biggest disappointment though, I think that Mexico don't get out, and so I'm going to say Mexico is my biggest disappointment.
Okay.
And my biggest surprise is I'm going to go with Uruguay. I've got a 55 to 1 ticket that I feel pretty good about, and I hope to be able to hedge later in the tournament.
All right, let's go ahead and then get to a golden boot. Everybody wants to know out there who's going to score the most goals, who's going to be wearing the shiny golden boot when it's all over, Matt. I've got one that really just shows, hey, you got a price shop. I've got two guys circled. One's been bet, the other one just kind of waiting. But just to kind of give you guys an idea, at one book, he's 25 to 1 at MGM. And at Barstools, he's 60 to 1. At
Yeah.
one book, he's 25 to 1. Another book, he's 60 to 1. And then the other player is 40 to 1 at Barstools. And then MGM's got him 66 to 1. That's the one I haven't bet yet. We look at the Brazil squad. It may be hard to predict goals. You obviously got them advancing far, so you like somebody on their team. Look at kind of how their lineup is. It's hard. You know Neymar's in there, but then it's hard between like Rodrigo, Vinicius. But one stay player who seems to always make the 11 is Rafinha. So I think Rafinha at 66 to 1 over on BetMGM. 66 to 1 is a real nice look for Rafinha. And the other one that I did bet that's 60 to 1 at Barcelona is Darwin Nunez. I'm on you with Darwin Nunez. So he's 60 to 1 to have the golden boot. I slapped it on. $5 free bet.
Yeah, I think in this market, like a really smart thing to do, like I have one ticket that's just on Lionel Messi to be the top goal scorer and
Mm-hmm.
Argentina to win. I found that at 40 to 1, just hoping for like kind of a dream Cinderella like send off for him. And I thought that the value was there for that. So like I would go with Messi in terms of without seeing lineups for like we know that Messi is going to be in and out every single time. He's going to play 90 minutes pretty much in every single match. They've got some match. They've got a nice group stage to pick on. He's going to take the penalties.
Mm-hmm.
He's the best player in the world.
Right.
So there's some positives to go with Messi. But I think that these others that I kind of like, that I haven't bet yet, but there's one that I've circled here, and I really want to line chop it. Is people are being really trendy with Martinez of Argentina.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a feeling, I have this gut feeling that Alvarez from Man City is going to lead the line for Argentina. And so, like, I would be interested in having a piece of him. But he started today in the friendly that they had, and he scored. So like I have a feeling that he could start over Lisandro Martinez.
I'd have Martinez leading the line, not Alvarez, but I get it. I mean, Alvarez
I
is.
I've got this feeling that they might go with Martinez just because I think that he doesn't get a lot of looks right now because of Erling Haaland, but there's a reason
Mhm.
that Manchester City went out and paid a nice amount of money for Alvarez. So I
Yeah.
think that he's a good shout at like the 50, and if you line shop, if you find like a 75 or something, like I think it's worth having a couple bucks on. And then another one that I think is worth having a couple bucks on, but I'm waiting really to see lineups. And remember that you can bet these during the World Cup too. You don't have to rush in.
Mm-hmm.
My one would be I want to see if Gabriel Jesus leads the line for Brazil because I
Yes.
would have a sprinkle on Jesus. I
See,
would like to have kind of whoever is leading the line for those two South American squads is basically my reasoning.
When I looked up when I settled on Rafinha because I thought based on what he plays about him being good, um, Jesus gets rotated in with Vinicius and Rodrigo too much for my liking. To your point,
I know there's so much
I meant to
rotation
mention
there.
him. I know,
That's the issue.
but
That's
not
the
with
issue is there
Rafinha. I
is so
felt
there's
not with Rafinha. I think he's a good look.
and that's something else that I want to talk about though too is the five subs in this tournament. Okay, it's going to be hot. So you were asking, I think earlier, like is there going to be a lot of unders? Is there going to be a lot of overs? I
Mm-hmm.
think that a good thing to do in this is really to not rush it in terms of your betting strategy. I think that you either have two kind of ways to attack it. You attack like a trend in cup matches that like for in the past that I've had some success with in World Cups and European Cups is first half draws, first half unders. But I think that like a lot of nice looking under 2.5 bets, like there will definitely be some stone cold under 2.5s in this.
Yeah.
But I think that when with these, especially when we get past the group stage, like with these five substitutes, Jason, like we much quality some of these squads have, like the changes that get made at the 70-minute mark, you're over or you're under 2.5, you're gonna end up sweating it
Mm-hmm.
tremendously, and you're gonna find some late equalizers, stuff like that.
Live bets. I'm hearing live bet is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I think that a good staple diet of first half draws, first half unders will work in some of these like certain, especially like if you look towards the African nations. Um, just teams that want to keep it tight are not gonna they're gonna have 11 men behind the ball and say, look, Spain, like come and break us down. And it's difficult for anyone to break down 11 men behind the ball. That's very, you can have Pedri, Gavi, all of these guys, but it's still difficult to break these teams down. We see it all the time in club football. So
Mm-hmm.
those are just some strategies. I think that like waiting and seeing a good flow for
Love it.
15 to 30 minutes before making your bet is like a decent idea.
I love that. Love that thought right there. Guys coming on late, being strong. Love it. World class players. You don't get that every single game. Obviously, you don't get
Yeah.
world class, but rosters aren't that deep. But they are here at the World Cup. So, all right, love that. I do have a couple of bets I want to share. Then let's throw up some of your futures because I want to go ahead and tail them. These are the ones I wrote up for the games. So the very first game, I'm on
Oh,
under 2.5. I did do
okay.
that first half under. You mentioned under 0.5.
Yeah.
Uruguay money line against South Korea, match day number one, minus 122. They'll get the job done against South Korea. And then that $5 FB, that's a free bet. That Darwin Nunez, 60 to 1.
I like it. I like it. I like the Uruguay matchup. I think that they
Minus
should take
122.
care of
Every
business.
other book has it minus 150. So if you want it, got to get on Barstool. Minus 122.
Minus 122. Yeah, I was looking at, I saw, I think it was a minus 134 on FanDuel earlier. I was looking at that
All right,
match
Matt. Let's get these
because
up
I
here,
think,
Matt.
yeah, I mean, these are our futures, but we should definitely talk about like Sunday and Monday.
Yeah, I
I
want to
think that
throw up. Let's do the futures, and then I want to. Yeah, you're exactly right.
yeah.
Preview
So,
this Sunday. Yeah,
yeah,
sorry.
let's go through the futures. You want to go or you want me to go?
People see mine every day. I get them out on YouTube, so
Okay.
people
Okay.
are used to mine.
So,
There you go.
so for me, what I'm going to do in this,
Actually,
and
let me
some
make
of
it
these
big so
units are,
people can screenshot it, Matt,
yeah,
and
that's
then you can
great.
talk about it, and then I'll make it small
Yeah.
again.
So, and some of these units are structured differently. So I want to make that really clear. I didn't really put the units down for each one, but like,
Okay.
for example, I have more money on like CONMEBOL to win the World Cup at plus 200 um, than I do, like Uruguay to win the World Cup at 55 to 1. So like Uruguay is like more of a quarter unit play. That's like just
Ooh.
my dark horse, my value guy. But I'll just read them all off. Okay. I think that England, Argentina top their group at basically around even money. I've got a feeling that one of England or Argentina collects all 9 points in their group. So if one of them does that, then I would scrape away a unit basically. Someone from South America is winning this tournament, folks. I'm feeling very confident about that. Costa Rica to finish bottom of Group E. Jason has pointed that one out. It's actually a better price at Bet Rivers or Barstool, minus 143. So when Jason sent that, I immediately took off minus 190 on DraftKings and I placed it at minus 143 on Barstool. Same thing with South Korea to finish bottom. There's a little bit better value out there. if you shop around plus 120 at Bet Rivers and Barstool. Uruguay to top their group. They're my like underdog to win their group plus 220. Got a France, Denmark exacta, basically a straight forecast.
Love that. Love that.
And another long shot, kind of like Uruguay. Like these are a couple long shot quarter units. Um, is Messi Golden Boot, Argentina to win the World Cup, Uruguay to win at 55-1. And then these are some that I've placed since our last show, Jason, that I have two units on. Basically, I feel very strongly about all of these ones. These are really some hammers in my opinion. Is Darwin Nunez over 1.5 goals. The price is plus 120 on Bovada. Uh, Jamal Musiala for Germany, over 1.5 goals at plus 200. I think that he is going to start every match for Germany. He's going to play in the center attacking mid role. He scores a lot of goals right now for Bayern Munich. And I also think that there's some value on him to be the young player of the tournament. If you shop around, you can find him at about 6-1 on Jamal Musiala. I think that Germany have a chance to make a deep run. I think that he's the youngster to look at. Julian Alvarez, the guy I was just talking about, I think he's got a chance to lead the line for Argentina. And I think that he will at least get 30 minutes or more in each match. I think they'll come off the bench. Maybe he'll start, get 60 minutes. Over 1.5 goals for Julian Alvarez at plus 175. And Dusan Vlahovic over 1.5 goals for Serbia at plus 250, takes the penalties. Love that. And then just two guys that are going to be taking corners, taking set pieces. Joshua Kimmich will be the one on set piece and corner duty for Germany. You can bet your bottom dollar on that, on some of, like, depending on the different areas that he's in. And he's just a fantastic player. So he will have over a half assist in this tournament. And so will João Cancelo, who will start at right or left back for Portugal, who whips in crosses better than just about anybody in the world. We will have over a half assist in this tournament at minus 120.
Okay, I like those. Just to let people know, Matt is showing obviously some offshore books right there. You can get all those ones at FanDuel at the bottom, those player props. I see Lahovic is plus 240 while you've been speaking. I'm jumping on that one with you. I love that serve to go ahead and get it, how I think they'll obviously do in that group. So, all right, Matt, everybody's obviously taking a share of that, so we can come back to your face. Everybody's got your bets.
Yeah, no, I would expect a lot of these legals, Jason, to populate some of these odds for sure.
I'm on.
Yeah, the offshores just are the first ones to release it, and then I wanted to get on them before any like movement or anything.
I'm also doing your France Denmark basically at even money for a straight cast in Group D. I'm on that bet. I'm on Lahovic. The other ones out to maybe go through. I mean, I like them all. Obviously, don't kid me. We sat here for an hour, and I love all those bets. But in terms of not having too much volume, obviously, I've got to have a lot that I put together on my own. But I love it, Matt. There's so many bets. We were talking about it before we joined here. All the sports books are offering so much. The prices are varying. You can take hours just to go through that information of the piece. So have some fun, fellas. This World Cup.
I was doing some digging. That's all a lot of digging work that's taken some time for sure. So I feel pretty good about it. And yeah, let's talk about some matchups.
Let's talk about the one on Sunday. But I do want to put this up because we're going to end this in a few minutes. Remind everybody the next time we're live, though, is going to be Monday, November 21st at 1 p.m. because at 2 p.m., U.S. versus Wales kicks off. We'll talk about that game as soon as lineups drop at 1 p.m. That's when we'll be joining you guys right here on YouTube. So let's spend the next couple, though. There are the game on Sunday, Qatar versus Ecuador. Obviously, I'm on under 2.5, first half under. I see that game being low scoring. If you want to sprinkle a little bit on the penalty to be awarded, I'm not against Qatar doing some shady stuff and maybe buying a penalty, so maybe that's worth a sprinkle. But do you want to preview that game or any games on Monday that aren't U.S. Wales?
So I know that there's been a pretty significant line move in that one. I think that Qatar is taking money. I think it's moved about 50 cents.
Of course they are, dude. It's dirty money, bought the whole damn thing.
My only lead. I'll probably have a little sprinkle on Qatar double chance in that one. I think that maybe they can hang, but kind of, that's kind of going up against everything I've talked about for the last 45 minutes. I don't want to go up against the South American sides. So really, more than likely, I'm going to just leave that match alone. I do agree with you on maybe some unders, under first half. It's just really that group. I just hate that group. I probably won't be betting really anything in Group A. I
All
just
right.
don't have a good feel for it.
All right, let's get to the two games then on Monday that we do want to preview. Again, not doing United States and Wales. We'll do that Monday live at 1 p.m. Eastern time. So come, guys. United States kicks off their
Oh yeah.
World Cup campaign Monday. Let's talk about England, Iran, and Senegal, Netherlands. To me, let's do Senegal, Netherlands first. Not only do I
Okay.
like them checking, but if they don't have Mane in, like they brought him, but if his injury is him missing a couple of the first games,
Mhm.
you could do both teams to score no. Netherlands win to nil. They'll get through Senegal without Mane. It'll be hard because Mendy, obviously, remember the Chelsea goalkeeper, Koulibaly,
Mhm.
the center back. It'll be tough, but Netherlands win to nil for me in that game.
So for me, I think that that's an under spot. Like I haven't placed it yet, but like you're talking about it right now, Jason. You're talking about somebody winning to nil, and what does that mean? I mean, that means
2-0.
unders. So here, let's see what a price is, because like the more and more we talk about that, the more I bet the price won't be great on it. To be honest, might have to take a. Actually, it's still kind of hanging around a decent spot. Under 2.5 at -135 right now at Barstool. That would be the way that I would go there. It would probably be the unders. I do agree with you. I think that Mane will not play. Probably money will come in late, heavily on the Dutch side, and I think that the Dutch side will win the match, but there won't be a ton of value on it. And I think that it will be a close game. I think that Senegal can defend pretty well, and I'm worried. My one concern with the Netherlands is who they have to fill it. Who's going to score the goals?
Mm-hmm.
That's where I have my concerns with Netherlands long term, short term. So it would be under 2.5 there at -135.
I like that. I've been telling people for the last couple of weeks, unders is going to be the theme. I think in a lot of games you're going to see under 2.5. You nailed that one group though with the one with Serbia and Brazil. That's your over
Mm-hmm.
group with Switzerland. I like it, and that cards prop. I'm now going to be digging into that because I now want to bet cards. All right,
Yeah.
maybe if you don't want to mess around with doing under 2.5 Netherlands Senegal, maybe you do a money line parlay of England Netherlands. England is beating Iran. You can do that England -1, England's -1.5. They should win by two. I'm not going to say they're going to run it up because it is a World Cup game one. Chemistry can be a little off, but they'll win 2-0, 3-0. I can't see Iran getting one, so 2-0, 3-0.
So this is the one that I have placed. This is
Okay.
my first like World Cup bet that I've placed, basically in terms of like head-to-head matchups. Because you already saw the list, the giant list that
I
I've
love it.
already placed on the
Right.
future stuff. But this is the first head-to-head one. I am going to rock with it before seeing lineups. It's England to win the first half at minus. It's anywhere from -110 to -120, depending on where you're looking. I'm going to trust in Gareth Southgate to get the
Love it.
lineup right. Yep, right there. First half money line -110.
I'm on it. I'm going to do
Um,
it with you.
and here's another thing: is Iran got beat 2-0 today by Tunisia in a friendly.
Ooh, Tunisia.
So they're not feeling. They must not be feeling great.
Right.
That's a match that definitely players are trying. They're working on things. So I don't want to discount those friendlies really leading up to the World Cup. Both teams like are trying to get ready for it, and Iran got smacked today by Tunisia. So um, I think that England can come out and be in a good place from the start and really get after Iran and take the lead before halftime. So that's going to be the way that I go for that one. And then I've got a pretty strong lean towards that Senegal Netherlands under. I need to look at that one a little bit
That
more.
one don't bet until you know if Mane's playing. I agree. Lock in that England one. That's the reason why you've locked it in, but you have not locked it under 2.5. You need to know if Mane's there. Need to know if
I don't
Mane's
think
there.
he's going to be. I
I
really
agree.
don't. So I
I
think
agree.
I've got
Get
a
it in now.
strong feeling. I think you take it now.
Get it in now. All right. What's
I think that
the
that will be -160 before
that
kickoff.
Matt? You know that -155 one I gave out for Qatar Ecuador is now -205 is the best price. Minus two oh
Oh,
five.
see, these are
Unders.
moving. These moving.
Unders.
Yeah,
Unders.
-135 on that Netherlands one. That will be -170, I think, before it
Where
kicks off. I really do.
and you saved me some time. Where'd you get that England first half money line? What book at -110?
Um, so it was offshore. It was offshore. It was
Okay.
that bookmaker, but
Okay.
it's not even a big deal. Like all of these other like there's -115s
Mm-hmm.
everywhere.
I'm riding, buddy.
There's there's a -120 here. Let me.
I'm riding on
Well,
that England first half. That way you don't have to do a parlay. You don't really know what the hell's going on in the World Cup. Keep your parlays low. I like an
that's
England first half
that's what
money.
I'm thinking too. It's minus 113 at Barstool.
Sign me up. Sign me up.
Oh yeah, I was thinking about doing halftime, full time at like plus 100, but it's like I just don't even want to have to worry about it. I just want a good 45 minutes from England to kick off this World Cup. Like play well,
Yeah. Love it.
just play normal. Just if they just play normal, they should win the opening 45 freaking minutes.
I hear it. All right, guys, that's 2022 World Cup preview. That starts on Sunday now between Qatar and Ecuador. Don't forget, we're going to be with you guys every week of the World Cup. There's 4 weeks of the World Cup, guys. 4 weeks of the World Cup. We're going to be with you every week, 3 times a week. 3 times a week, Monday through Friday. Each and every single week, we'll be with you guys. You can see the next show is Monday, November 21st is the next show. They could come out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The only thing we can tell you about is next week they will all be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday because of Thanksgiving. But then after that, it could be throughout the entire week. So, guys, we look forward to watching this entire World Cup with you guys. We've had a blast on each of the preview shows. Again, we look forward to hanging out with you guys on the match day previews. U.S. versus Wales kicking off the next one. Matt, plethora of bets. I look forward to riding those with you. Thanks for hanging out with me over the course of 2 shows and previewing this World Cup.
Oh, been super fun. A lot of bets, a lot of fun, and best of luck to everyone. I hope that we have a really profitable and fun World Cup, and go USA.
Go USA. We'll sign off right there. Guys, we'll see you guys on Monday at 1 p.m. 2022 World Cup.